The question is this the war of Gog and Magog? Because it certainly looks like it. I mean, I've never been interested in what in the prophecies of Yehezkel, and I did have to, of course, take a look at it. And it says that the war of Gog and Magog is coming from the north. The north would be Russia, that it's with Persia. Persia is Iran. And I mean, if you look at what is going on today, Russia has not denounced what is happening, did not denounce the terrorist attack. It is providing weaponry for Iran, who is sponsoring the Hamas. So I'm sorry. On one hand, it sounds insane. On the other hand, this is factual, and it seems like that it reflects the prophecy, Yehezkel's prophecy. And please tell me I'm nuts. I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't know if it is the war of Gog and Magog. We've guessed about that for many wars already. So I don't know about that. I was hoping that the war would be an ideological one, not a military one. But I guess people are not ready for any ideological discussions. They're still stuck in their barbaric origins. But look at what, we've been talking about this for a couple of years already. All the evil in the world will stop hiding, which will bring out all the hidden good in the world that has been hiding. There's no question that that's what we're seeing. The absolute exposure. No more concealment, no more playing games. It's out in the open. We're not interested, they said, in a Palestinian state. We wouldn't know how to run a state anyway. We would just end up killing each other. We don't want a state. We just want to kill. They're saying it. No more guesswork. And they're doing it. So, what are we seeing, and what are we hearing, and what are we learning? I think in very blunt language, it's time to grow up. It's time to grow up. This is not, I hope, in the minds of most Israelis, this is not retaliation for butchery and for indescribable animal behavior. It's not retaliation. It's a long overdue cleansing of the evil and exposing the failure of secular education. We thought we were enlightened. We thought we were intelligent. We went to college. We read books. We appreciated art and music. We're all great now, and we haven't really changed at all. So to think of this as just something happening in Gaza with a group of crazed terrorists, don't kid yourself. Look at the condition of the world. It's still barbaric. And even people who say, oh, that's barbaric. Good morning. I think it's time to grow up and simply recognize the entire education of the West and of modern day college and university. It failed. It failed. If it's secular, it's a failure. What more proof do we need? Anyone who can't admit that the education has been a failure is missing the point and is still hiding and is still afraid to see the truth. The truth is, this is a global problem. The education that people are raised with is a disaster. These are not unusual individuals. These are not exceptionally evil people. They're your typical citizen of the world. And the education has failed them. They were never taught to be decent. They weren't taught anything that would bring them out of the prehistoric, barbaric mentality or personality, which education is supposed to do. So, first of all, let's be mature enough to see this as a global problem. This is not Israel and Gaza. It's a much bigger issue. And it's long overdue. Long overdue. Can we now admit that secular education is a failure? Germany proved it, but we didn't want to see it. Now we see it. It's videos. You can't deny it anymore. To hide and make believe this is just a regional problem with a group of people, no. It's the human condition that should have been vastly improved by now, and it hasn't improved. So I can imagine people saying, oh, the secular education failed. And what? The religious education was a big success? Most of these people are religious. Religion is a disaster. It's been a disaster for 2,000 years. Can we now admit it? When the truth is finally staring you in the face, can you now admit it? Is anyone admitting that Mayor Kahane was right? No. It's much harder to admit that somebody was right than to admit that I was wrong. But we're seeing the truth so clearly. The lines are so stark now. How evil is evil and how good is goodness. And where does goodness come from? Only one source. Let's stop kidding ourselves. Nobody became moral from reading Shakespeare. They just became more articulate in their evil. Nobody became a better person because they studied chemistry. All goodness comes from Torah. It's always been this way, and it will always be this way. What more do we need to prove this? So on the one hand, the evil is so evil that it is sickening. And that's not an exception. That's just a fact of life. Without the Torah, we were barbaric. We're still barbaric because we don't study the Torah properly. Nothing's changed. Cain killed Abel and said, oh, God, what is wrong with those people? What was their problem? They were just two human beings in the whole world, and they brothers, twins, and they couldn't. Nothing's changed. Don't act surprised. Have the decency to not act surprised. So how can people be like that? People are like that. Some people enjoy it more than others. So the pleasure in barbarism, it's an old story. Don't look shocked. Don't pretend you can't believe it. The human condition has barely improved. Because without Torah, there is no goodness. Because without godliness, there is no goodness.
Rabbi Friedman, but we've been shown this constantly through the ages. You're right, this is nothing new. But we are not still coming to that conclusion, which absolutely, 100%. We should all be there already, but we're not. And what will it take? Is this it? Is this what it's going to take? Because you're saying secular education, we're just more educated. And you're right. This is barbaric. This is massively barbaric all in one place. But cutting off young girls' breasts, healthy breasts, for the sake of some sort of, I don't know what it is, or reversing genitals with a scalpel, and there are thousands of those surgeries on healthy children. We know about it, at least 3,000. We already know the numbers out there. That's less barbaric, and that's done by educated people, intelligent people with high degrees, doctors who still can, okay, so they don't have a weapon, a bomb, but they have a scalpel, and they're doing barbaric things, and they're doing it in the name of something good. So what is it going to take for the world to wake up, fully wake up? Not just, I mean, this is huge. This is what's happening right now is massive, but so is this, and so are so many other things that we talk about throughout our lives.
Yeah.
During our programs, for sure.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Those doctors or those parents who allow their children to be massacred, and they're shocked by what happened in Gaza, in Israel. Don't do that. Look the truth in the eye and be honest. Grow up. Grow up. Why do we believe these foolish concepts and these foolish lies? Like, for example, the peace process in the Middle East. How blind have we been? What peace process? There was never. Why do we fall for these fake news, lies, half-baked ideas? Every moral concept introduced by the secular world has been a disaster. It was never moral. Now, finally, a good part of the world is waking up. People who are saying Israel is absolutely right, do what you need to do, this is unacceptable, this is unbearable. No more politics. And the best news is that Israel is not playing politics. I hope. Politics is finished. Nobody's talking politics anymore.
Rabbi Friedman, is it finished? Unfortunately, I'm scared that it's not. We are having people come out again with different plaques. We have social media is again showing very sad images of victims of Gaza, and rightfully so, because there are children that are getting hurt on both sides, and even though obviously I'm hurting for the Jewish people inside me, that I cannot change. This is who I am, okay? But in my head, and I'm sure there are other people, they don't like seeing anybody hurt who is not supposed to be hurt, who is a side effect of all of this. And of course it turns things political.
That's not necessarily political, but yes, there are still people who are saying do this, do that, who is elect this one, change that one. But that's foolish. It's obviously, clearly foolish. And Israel is not, for the most part, they're not talking politics. It's not this party against that party. There's a unified mentality right now. We need to do what we need to do. You needed to do this 50 years ago. And the Rebbe was telling you to do it 50 years ago. And anyone who studied a little bit of Torah knew this is what needed to be done 50 years ago, and hundreds of thousands of lives would have been spared. How many people died in these 50 years. Now, finally, it's all out in the open. Now somebody who says it's because of this problem and that political, anybody who marched in protest for the last couple of months in Israel, you realize how petty and foolish that whole thing was, and dangerous? When you gave the impression that half the country is against its own government, how much did that encourage this horror that we're witnessing? And over what? Over what? Over a debate as to how democracy works? Why are we even calling ourselves a democracy? Who is impressed by that? Who cares about that? It's so petty, so childish. It's not a question of democracy or communism. They're both political systems that either good people run it and then it's good, or bad people run it and it's a disaster. I hope we can stop doing this. I hope finally Israel can stand up and say, we are the chosen people and we were given the land of Israel. If you want to be moral and you want to be godly, let us teach you. Sit down quietly like good kids in a classroom and we will teach you what morality means, because you have no idea. You're barbaric at the core. And a little provocation and all the barbarism comes out. So sit down and we will teach you. It's our job. It's our mission. It's our role. We are the light to the nations. And if we behave like we're the students, the whole world is messed up. Is that not clear yet? For many people all over the world, it has become very clear. We have God's word as to what is godly and what is good, and we have to go invent our own, which never works. Which political concept hasn't proven to be a disaster? Every one of them. They're all failed. They sound so noble, they sound so good, and they end up being so cruel. There's one morality. There will never be another. It was given to us at Mount Sinai. We were there, and we were given the mission of teaching the world what God wants from us. Just listen, we'll teach you. Sit down quietly at your desks, put away the guns, and we will tell you what godliness is all about.
Rabbi Friedman, it all sounds so good, but we're the ones with the guns right now, and because we're forced to be with the guns, and the world is judging us again for that.
But we're not. Yeah, that's the point. We're not simply retaliating against an enemy. We're doing what God instructed us to do that we should have done 50 years ago. No tolerance for terrorism. Is that asking too much? Is that not godly? Do we need other systems and other philosophies to tell us that this is the right thing to do? God already told us. But we thought we were smarter. We thought we could come up with a better system. Christianity thought it can improve on the Torah. Islam still thinks it can improve on the Torah. You can't improve on God. So let God be the judge. Let God be the author of morality for all of us. And then we will have a world that you can live in. Can't live in a world like this. So it's not that now we're doing the shooting. the acceptance and the tolerance of evil is anti-God. We're not supposed to have tolerance for evil. Hopefully we could eradicate it by teaching. But when necessary, read the Bible. One war after another from the beginning of time, good guys against bad guys. It is the godly thing to do to eradicate evil. We were really hoping that we could do this through education, Torah education. But people weren't listening. So it has to come down to shootings and bombings. Okay. We do it the way God instructed us to do it. And I think many, many people in the world today are saying, yes, that's what Israel should do. That's the right thing to do. It's the godly thing to do. Long overdue. So the world is going to come out a lot better by the end of this activity. So here's the first thing I want to make very clear. This year is going to be a year of incredible kindness, goodness, and holiness. A year of immense good news for the entire world. This did not change that truth. Yes, we started off on a very painful note, on the happiest day on the Jewish calendar. But that doesn't mean that this is what the year is going to be. The year is going to be an incredible year. And this will move us further and faster in that direction. Just want to mention one interesting thing. There are so many philosophies among Jews in Israel. I'm a secular Jew, I'm a religious Jew, I'm a hawkish Jew, I'm a pacifist Jew, I'm this kind of... All that childishness has got to come to an end. 50 years ago, there was a war that broke out on Yom Kippur. Now, 50 years later, a war breaks out on Simchas Torah. What are we supposed to make of that? Well, first of all, many of the people in Israel had a policy that we do not fight during a Muslim holiday. So childish. Because the enemy chooses the holiday to start the war. So who are you fighting? We abide by the Geneva Conference rules of engagement. Who are you fighting? People who don't abide by it. So don't be an idiot. Don't be ridiculous. Don't sacrifice the lives of your soldiers for some concept that some people came up with in Geneva. For this you sacrifice lives? That's like the old burning your firstborn to the idols. That's one lesson. The second lesson is they're so mistaken. They think we're more vulnerable during our holidays. We're much more powerful. They made a mistake by picking Yom Kippur. It looked good for a minute, but they were completely defeated. It's going to happen again, of course. But the main message and lesson, when they attacked Israel on Yom Kippur, who were they attacking? Secular Jews, religious Jews, observant Jews, non-observant Jews? No. They were attacking a people who observe Yom Kippur. It's so clear. It was so obvious. Who are you attacking? Yom Kippur fasters. That's who you attacked. Did every Jew in Israel fast? I don't know. This is not a consensus. You attacked the nation that fasts on Yom Kippur. Now you attacked a nation that dances on Simchas Torah. Do we know who we are? It's so clear. We're not secular, we're not religious, we're not right-wing, we're not left-wing, we're not pacifists, we're not hawk. We are the people who dance on Simchas Torah. That's who we are. Why don't we tell the world this? Can we stop calling ourselves a democracy? Nobody's impressed. Stop already. People are impressed that we are the children of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and we haven't changed. Our ancestors fasted on Yom Kippur, we fast on Yom Kippur. Our ancestors danced on Simchas Torah, we dance on Simchas Torah. They built mikvahs that we're now discovering all over archaeological diggings. We're finding ancient mikvahs all over the country. We're finding ancient synagogues all over the country. Yeah, well, we build mikvahs too. Far more modern mikvahs. And yes, we build synagogues too. We are the same people. We haven't changed. And therefore, the land that God gave to our ancestors is our land because we are our ancestors. We've never changed. You're not convinced? Well, what were we doing when we were attacked? Dancing. Even the secular were dancing. It was a dance festival that they attacked. So, who are we? We are the people who dance on Simchas Torah. We are the people who fast on Yom Kippur. Why can't we tell the world who we are? What are we hiding? What are we denying? So, in one word, we need to grow up. Enough with the foolishness. Enough playing the game of the secular world, trying to out-secular the secular, trying to out-westernize the West. Stop. It's a failure. You're mimicking a failure. Why would you want to do that? Let's go back to being the teachers. We're not good at being students, and the world is not good at being teachers. If you don't see it now, you need to examine your eyes.
Rabbi Friedman, that's the scariest thing. If people are not going to see it now, that just will mean that this is all happening in vain.
No, it will mean that those people who don't see it now don't count. They don't count anymore. Your opinion doesn't count. Your position doesn't count. You don't count. You're out. You're beyond the pale. You missed the signal, so you don't count. That's what it's come down to. If you don't see the truth now, then it's very sad. You know, the reason they promote these videos of their barbaric butchery is to intimidate us, to degrade us, to make us feel victimized, undeserving, pathetic. That never worked before. It's been tried so many times. I don't feel bad for us. I feel bad for them. What is wrong with them? What is wrong with their lives? What is wrong with their mind and their heart? What kind of sickness are they suffering from? We are embarrassed? What are we embarrassed about? So let's make this assessment. They were successful for a week. That proves that they are right and that they are good and God is on their side. Let anybody in the world answer that question. They were successful They got through Israeli security. They crossed into the border. They killed whoever they wanted. They're on top of the world. They're so successful. Does that in any way indicate that they're right? That they're good? Of course not. So success at being evil doesn't make you any less evil. Now, let's look at the flip side. If you are victimized and butchered, does that mean you're wrong? Does that mean God is not on your side? It's just as absurd. Successful evil doesn't make the evil any better, and victimized righteousness doesn't make righteousness any less right. So, why are we ashamed? We're not. We're outraged. And the pity and the shame, of course, is on the butchers. And who are the butchers? The world. The world. Again, let's not be petty. The universe, the way it is today, produces these kinds of people. They're not weird. They're not the exception. They're just upfront about it. Like you say, you can butcher your own kid and then be horrified that someone can butcher someone else's kid. It's the world that is misguided, not just this group from Gaza. Finally, the truth, righteousness, godliness is prevailing. It had to be provoked. I don't know why, but that's obvious. That's the case. This is going to turn the world upside down. It should have happened in the past. There were plenty of opportunities for it, but it was never so graphic. Even the Holocaust. For 30 years after the Holocaust, people still didn't believe it happened. Yes, there was some footage, there were some pictures, but now it's in every home and on everyone's telephone. It's so graphic now. Why did it take that? I don't know. Why couldn't people figure this out without having to see it, the butchery in front of their eyes?
Rabbi Friedman, that's actually one of my questions. The fact that we're seeing all of this, I mean, I saw a lot. I'm trying to shut some of it out. Does it have a lasting effect? Is it something that is awful for us to see? Is it something we should stay away from seeing? I mean, a lot of people are warning us against seeing all of these atrocities. They are horrific.
We definitely have to protect our children from it. There's no benefit in seeing it. Will we get over it? Of course we'll get over it. We've been there before. So we're going to do fine. We're going to have a miracle. We're going to have a victory. This is going to be the best year. The rest of the world? Well, you have a choice. Continue with your foolish experiments or get with the program. There is a Torah. The Torah tells all of us how we must behave. A Jew Jewishly, a non-Jew with non-Jew, with the 7 Noahide laws. We all know right from wrong from the Torah. Why do we keep trying to embellish? So, being optimistic, I think the world grew up a lot as a result of COVID. The world is growing up a lot more as a result of this week's events. And those who are still benign and benighted, I don't know. Are they beyond hope? It's just very sad. But the pendulum has swung. Anyone who's not moving to the right is just hopeless. So it's very sad to see that there are people who are that blind that even this can't wake them up. Okay. I guess they were just not meant to be part of the solution. But they're no longer a problem. They're just sad losers. So it's really our call right now. The Jewish people have to present themselves to the world. Enough with the games. Enough with the half-truths. We are the chosen people. We didn't choose, we were chosen. So we have no choice. The chosen people have no choice. We either do what we were chosen for, or we fail the mission that God put on us, which means the whole world is going to suffer because we're not doing our job. So stop saying silly things, childish, immature, like we have a right to defend ourselves. Yeah, if somebody's beating you up in the schoolyard and taking away your lunch, you have the right to defend yourself. What a stupid statement. Biden made such a powerful proclamation. Israel has a right to defend itself. Full stop. You're a brilliant person. You're a great leader. And Israel says the same thing. Enough already. We don't have a right to defend ourselves. We have a mission to fix the world. Stop being petty. This is not a schoolyard fight. And stop saying I'm a democracy, the only democracy in the... Nobody has been impressed yet. What do you think, saying it again is going to impress them? Democracy is a tool. It's either a tool for the good or it's a tool for the evil. Stop priding yourself in the tool. Pride yourself in what you use it for. If you use democracy to teach the world about God, then it's a good thing. If you used communism to teach people about God, which is kind of a contradiction in terms, but if you used communism to teach people about God, then communism would be wonderful. It's time to grow up. Simply time to grow up. Don't become secular, don't become religious, don't become holy. Just grow up. Just grow up. That's all it takes. If you're Jewish, be Jewish. Who are you kidding? What are you trying? You can't fool Mother Nature. And if Jews were being Jewish, the whole world would benefit more than from anything else. And now that Jews are acting like the chosen people, the world likes it. It makes sense. The chosen people acting chosen. Bingo! Everything's right in the world. But when the chosen people don't act chosen, everybody's confused. Everybody's upset. Nothing is as it should be. So here's the...
Not yet.
The point is, the world is becoming so much better. I don't like the drama of what it takes to make us better, but it is becoming so much better. In gratitude, not out of desperation, in gratitude for all the goodness that is coming, we should do another mitzvah. We should give more charity. We should be more godly. We are expecting God's miracles, but we have to be a miracle for God as well. It's a two-way street. God is our miracle. We are God's miracle. Let's just do it. A little more charity, a little more Shabbos, a little more tefillin, a few more mezuzahs on a few more doors. Tip the scale. Make the pendulum swing it to the right. Right, not politically right. Right meaning godliness. It's time. It's time for God to be the king of the universe, which means he says what is right and what is wrong. Without a middleman. God himself can speak for himself, and he does. So let's hear what God is saying. Let's do our mission. Let's fulfill our purpose and make the world a place for God to enjoy. He's not enjoying what he's seeing now.
Rabbi Friedman, thank you so much. We definitely needed this. We're definitely united over everything that has happened. That's one thing for sure. And unfortunately, this is what it takes. We'll hope that this is a big push that, God willing, we can all do our job now. This is the push to unite, to do the job. So thank you so much. Thank you for your wisdom and for keeping us on the straight and narrow. And yes, there's going to be, I'm sure, a lot to talk about in the very near future. And we need your guidance more than ever. Thank you.
Don't let this ruin your vision of life or your expectation for this year. It's going to be a great year.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll continue keeping it together. And thank you so much. Thank you for all that you did for us today. It's amazing. Thank you for everything that you do for the world. By the way, I do thank as well Beis Hana for the daily classes that unite us at 2:00 every day. And this is what the Jewish world is doing. I'm just going to let everybody know that everybody is getting together to pray, to study, to give charity, to read more Tehillim. And it's amazing that people are not hiding and running away and getting depressed. No, everybody's getting together and not running away from Israel, but the other way around. Everybody is going towards Israel. And so let's definitely see the positive in everything. It's painful, and we need to deal with this pain. And, Rabbi Friedman, we will need you to guide us a little bit more in that direction, how to stay strong and deal with the pain. But there is a lot of positivity that we see as well. People are not crashing. They're going forward. They're getting stronger, and they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So thank you so much.